Hi everyone, this is Patrick here to talk to you about telework for B-Side 147 with Professor Chittenden. To begin, it's important to distinguish the difference between telework and telecommuting. Both involve using technology to work from your own home or an office of some kind, an alternate location, but telework is exclusively working from home or an alternate location, whereas telecommuting, the employee would spend, say, one day working from home using their computer and other resources, and 4 days in a traditional office setting. So, telecommuting, you have a sort of hybridization where you work from both the traditional office and from home, whereas telework, you only work from home. You never report to a physical office space. Now, you may have been hearing a lot about telework in the past few years because of the greater utilization of technology in today's offices. And a lot of that has to do with people becoming more and more concerned about environmental impacts of their organizations. Environmental impact and telework go hand in hand because telework allows for the reduction of greenhouse gases because people aren't commuting, less time is spent in the car, things like that. Monetary savings. Telework allows for companies to reduce time spent in the car, time spent commuting to work, time spent walking someplace across the office to turn in some work. You can do all these things instantaneously using technology, therefore allowing for many different ways for money to be saved. Many workers highly value flexibility in their jobs. A lot of them even say it's more important than getting pay raises. Telework allows this. For people with small children or people who like to travel, telework can be ideal. It opens doors that you can work from hundreds of miles away from your physical workplace. If you're telecommuting, if you're teleworking, you can work from anywhere, anytime. Productivity actually increases, surprisingly, when people are teleworking. One may think that working from your own home is distracting or you might not be able to get anything done, which can be the case in some instances. But overall, it's been proven in studies that working alone from a home or office increases productivity and task performance. With telework and telecommuting, you have, as an employer, you have a greater talent pool to choose from. You can choose from employees across the entire world if you so choose, where a traditional office is limited by the geographic setting because of commuting times and getting people to work to your physical space. With telework, everything can be done instantaneously. From a managerial perspective, employees are hard to monitor when they're teleworking. You can't stop in casually to micromanage and make sure everyone's on task. If you have a project that's looking for collaborative capabilities and innovation in groups, telework is not going to be ideal for this. Video software has improved the ability of employees to work collaboratively over the internet, but it's still not as good as face-to-face contact. Employees who telework have greater autonomy, which is also important, just like flexibility, to many people who are working. As a manager, you're always looking to save money for your company. And saving money means you're doing a good job. Saving money can be done through various ways through telework, but one of the biggest factors is less employee turnover. People like the flexibility of telework and therefore are happier at their jobs. So, as a manager, you don't have to spend time recruiting, dealing with applicants, trying to screen employees, doing interviews, and time is money. So, saving time is saving money. Work standards and procedures have to be the same between a physical office space and working at home. If there's no smoking in your office, which there probably is, you can't have someone smoking at their home while they're working. And this isn't necessarily easy to enforce because the manager is not going to be on site with a teleworker or a telecommuter. But in theory, the structures should be the same. There's a lot of major firms using telework this day and age. Some surprising ones that you may not know about include Apple, Dell, and Microsoft. And one of the most famous teleworking firms is Xerox, a company that used to dominate the copying market and has now become a little bit more obsolete, on the decline, has been innovative in including telework in their daily operations. When is teleworking appropriate? Obviously, telework cannot be accomplished if we're talking about jobs that are in the service industry or require someone to attend in a physical space. If someone has to come into work and fix things, be a handyman of some sort, obviously telework is not appropriate. If people can use technology to accomplish their job tasks, then that's when telework would be appropriate, where you don't necessarily need to be on site. You want to have your teleworkers to be mature, trustworthy employees in order to not abuse the system of being at home, being alone, working from more casual locations, things like that. And as we spoke to before, collaboration is difficult. So you want to have tasks that don't require as much collaboration as others. Could UVM use telework? Yes, of course. UVM has a reputation of being green, as I'm sure everyone knows, and telework could increase our ability to help the environment and avoid a greater carbon footprint. With such a big organization as UVM, we would have massive savings due to the reasons that we had mentioned earlier. But I think the biggest factor for telework and UVM is the flexibility that is available for students and staff. Quick meetings could be set up almost instantaneously if students aren't available to travel all the way to their professor's office hours, and perhaps even more so for the professors. If a professor or a faculty member lives an hour away from UVM, a student is in a tough jam and needs to talk to their professor, video conferencing could allow them to set up a meeting for 5 minutes instantaneously with no commuting necessary, and makes it very easy for both parties to get set up and begin a meeting. The transfer of information is much faster. And lastly, here's a few statistics that I've taken from globalworkplaceanalytics.com regarding telecommuting. And as you can see, telework is definitely on the rise. 79% of US workers say they would like to work from home at least part of the time. And this goes back to the flexibility thing that we were talking about earlier. People want to work from home because they believe there's no reason for them to be at their office. If they're sitting on a computer all day at the office and they have little face-to-face interaction, then they could be doing that from their home. Typical business could save $11,000 per person per year. That's just reinforcing the idea that monetary savings come with telework. And the top two statistics are simply showing the massive growth of telework and its increased prevalence in the workplace. So to close, University of Vermont could definitely benefit from telework and telecommuting in order to increase our monetary savings and making sure that the university upholds its standards as being an environmental leader. Thanks for watching.